Hey everybody, welcome to my channel, Permission to Live in the Inn. Just wanted to stop by and share some encouragement today with anyone who is desiring to manifest and you have it in your mind that you don't have any money. You don't have any money. That's something that you are constantly assuming. And I just want to encourage you today regarding this quote I'm about to share with you. But then I have a story that I want to share as well regarding the assumptions that we're making about ourselves. So the quote says, "So instead of spending his thought, which everyone has, and spending his time, which everyone has, he had no money. But he knew that thought was money." Now, how many times do we hear something like that? He knew that thought was money. So he invested his thought in the now, knowing that it was not going to recede and vanish from sight. That was an investment. It would advance into his future. So in other words, this person realized that their thought was money and that the time that they spend on their thoughts is an investment. And that their thought was not, whatever it is they're thinking about, focused on, in agreement with, all of that, it's not going to go away. It will meet you tomorrow and the next day and the next day. So this is what a little piece of my story is about, which I've shared in a video here as well, I believe. I was just thinking about when I started a home organizing business. And I just decided I was going to do it. I didn't know anything about the business side of home organizing or anything like that. All I knew was I loved it and I was going to jump out there and get it started. So as you can tell, that's an assumption that I make about myself, is that I don't need to have everything perfect before starting anything. I do jump out there and I allow the process, because I am a process-oriented person, but I allow the process to help me to know what the next step is going to be. But along the lines of the assumptions we make about ourselves, I just wanted to share this because it came to mind that when I started my home organizing business, I did decide that I was going to sign up for an organizers organization, which had organizers from all over the world that came together in this one website or format, so that whatever your questions, your concerns, your experiences are, you could share them here and other people could give, their experiences. It was a very valuable, turned out it was a very valuable resource for me at that time, because as I said, I didn't know anything about home organizing. So anyway, one of the things I wanted to be comfortable about was how much I was going to charge. I knew that I didn't want to charge by the hour because I felt like at some point you might have to haggle with people over how much time you spent and perhaps if you go into the half hour, that was something that you might have to haggle about. That was my perception at the time. So I said, I don't want to have to deal with that. I would rather charge a flat rate based on what was going on in the room. And so anyway, it turns out that I found out that if you, and I just happened to be reading this because it wasn't my intention at the time to do large, what I'll call large jobs. It was my intention to start off small at the time. But I just happened across some information in the organizers organization that said that if a person's home had a room where there was a lot of stuff in it, and that stuff filled the room, let's just say from the front of the room to the back of the room and from the floor to the ceiling, that the going rate for something like that is $600. Okay, so that's what I remember. And I said, okay, cool. Put it in the recesses of my mind. come to find out, I had a couple of different jobs where I was able to charge $600, no problem. Anybody that I dealt with at that time, it was no problem to pay $600 when that was the fee. That was the going rate per the organizer's organization, and I agreed with it because it's very labor intensive to get into someone's home and, do what you needed to do. So anyway, I had a couple of customers where go into the home, do the initial consultation, tell them what the fee is, $600, boom, they write out the check, boom, bam, that's it. I'll just say this, I had no intention, because it was just myself doing the home organizer's job at the time, I had no intention of being a collection agency. So I had my process set up so that you paid up front. And okay, you paid up front if it was one room, $600. But if it was going to be multiple rooms, I did a half up front, half before I finished the job. Okay, so that made the process very easy for me. What I want to talk about is at some point, a young lady that I knew, I was saying how the jobs were, getting to be bigger than what I originally intended. And I had a friend, or a lady that I knew, who I happened to mention this to, and she was going to connect me with, or she did connect me with, another lady who had been doing home organizing apparently for years. And she was going to connect me with her so that I had a resource if I wanted to contract out certain portions of the organizing that I was doing. Cool. I thought this was wonderful. Oh my goodness. So a meeting was set up so that I could go and I could speak to this woman who had been in business for years. So as we're talking, one conversation leading to the next, we get to the part where she starts to tell me that she experiences a lot of problems with collecting money from her clients, and she kind of lays out her payment structure, which you could tell that this woman had put herself in a position where she was going to have to go after the money of the people who were her clients. And that was not how I was set up. So when she started to talk to me about this, and I expressed to her that I don't have any problems with collections. Here I am, a brand new company, and I'm telling her I don't have any problems with collecting because my process is not set up in a way that I would have problems with collections. This woman looked at me like I had 5 heads. And I'm looking at her like, why is she looking at me like this? And I knew right then and there that whatever assumptions that she was making about herself and her business and her process, or herself and her business, is how she set up her process. And therefore, she was having difficulty with collections. The assumptions I was making about myself was that I was not going to have any problems with collecting because this is how I'm going to set my process up. And either myself and my clients, when we do the initial consultation, will come to an agreement about that, or we won't. But every time I, sat with my clients and we had the initial consultation and I told them about the payment structure and I would, ask them if that was okay, they would sign my contract and I would get paid. So I just wanted to stop by and share this little piece of a story with you guys to remind you that the assumptions we're making about ourselves it's what creates the bridge of incidents and creates the outcomes that we are experiencing in our lives. And I wanted to reiterate that there's no excuse. This just eliminated any excuses I have, any excuses you have from your ability to manifest exactly what you want in your life, I want to encourage you not to be afraid to dream as big. Utilize your imagination and dream as big as you possibly can. Because, and I'm going to read this again. So instead of spending his thought, which everyone has, so you have thought, everyone has thought, and spending time, which everyone has, he had no money. So it doesn't matter that you don't currently have any money, because guess what? He knew that thought was money. So he invested his thought in the now, knowing that that thought, whatever it is you're thinking, whatever it is you're assuming about yourself, was not going to recede and vanish from sight, and that that was an investment, and that it would advance into your future. Just wanted to stop by and share that, share the message with you today. Share this with somebody you love, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Please like, and I would love to hear your comments and your experiences in the comment section, and I will see you on the next video.